Hey lore lovers, my name's Eric with the Lorebrarians YouTube channel, and today's video is the first in a new series that will take an in-depth look at the many different planes of the multiverse. After some positive feedback on my Ikoria explained video a few weeks back, which I'll link in the description, I decided it would be great to explain other locales in Magic the Gathering. Each plane in the series will have two videos. The first will discuss the setting of the world, its geography, inhabitants, and locations. The second will discuss its history as well as major stories or characters that tie into it. We start the series on the lush, Mesoamerican-inspired plane of Ixalan, and this video will be concerned mainly with the setting and the various peoples that call Ixalan home. Alright, let's dive in. Ixalan is a world of hidden treasures and untold beauty, of ancient ruins, dangerous seas, primordial magic, and ferocious dinosaurs. But above all, it is a world of races, peoples, and culture, and it is by these people that the history and topography of Ixalan have been shaped. There are four dominant cultures that rule the charted realms of Ixalan, and they are the humans of the Sun Empire, the merfolk of the River Heralds, the vampires of the Legion of Dusk, and the pirates of the Brazen Coalition. Each culture jockeys with its neighbors to carve out more land and power in hopes of finding the legendary Golden City of Araska, the ancient capital of the Sun Empire that was lost to time. Araska is famed for its treasures and technology, as well as being the resting place of the mythical immortal sun, an artifact with the power to create, destroy, and preserve life everlasting. As each culture seeks out the city, the relationships between them are tenuous at best and brutally violent at worst. As such, they each have their own staunchly defended borders, which divides the island of Ixalan and the plane at large. It would make sense then that our tour of Ixalan should focus on these races, their culture, and their holdings, and we'll begin with the militaristic Sun Empire. The Stormwreck Sea quickly recedes to coastal plains and jungles where herds of dinosaurs can be seen migrating along rolling hills, and cities carved out of the mountainside dot the horizon. Brilliant rays of sunlight cover the land and promote wild, unbridled growth, and it is within this cradle of life that the Sun Empire is nestled. The Sun Empire of today is not what it once was in the golden age of the past and has lost much of its previous territory, but it's experiencing a renaissance and hopes to regain what was lost. Currently, the Empire sits on the northeastern side of the continent, between the Sun Coast and the large mountain range of Ixalan. Coastal villages quickly transition to verdant steppes and jungle cities, then rugged and ornate urban centers carved into the cliffs above. The humans of the Sun Empire pride themselves in their strength and value their unity and martial prowess above all else. Warriors and champions defend as well as expand the borders of their society in the name of the Emperor. They are also completely devoted to worshipping a deity known as the Threefold Sun, and their priests draw on powerful magic to promote the Empire's needs. As such, the most important positions of the Sun Empire's highly stratified society are taken by priests, shamans, and the elite warriors of the army. The deity of the Empire is worshipped in three aspects. Kinjali, the Wakening Sun, represents creativity and unity and is aligned with white mana. Ixali, the Verdant Sun, fosters growth in nature and is aligned with green mana. Tilonali, the Burning Sun, ignites passion and ferocity and is aligned with red mana. Each aspect of the Threefold Sun is manifested in the dinosaurs of Ixalan, and they are an integral part of the Sun Empire's culture. They're best known for their use of dinosaurs in both civil and militaristic capacities, seeing the parallels of the dinosaurs' strength and ferocity to their own unyielding will. Although the dinosaurs of Ixalan are often seen beside the priests and warriors of the Sun Empire, they're not domesticated, and if we take a look at the flavor text of Drover of the Mighty and Bonded Horncrest, we can see that the Sun Empire does not command the dinosaurs. Rather, they listen to and speak each other's language, forming a communal bond that is mutualistic to both parties. The flavor text of Looming Altasaur captures the essence of the Sun Empire's view towards dinosaurs, which reads, "Nature can't be tamed, but the Sun Empire believes that humans are made stronger when they test themselves against the wild strength of the dinosaurs. This belief has indeed made the proud Empire stronger as they ride massive dinosaurs into battle." The territory of the Sun Empire can be broken down into three main cities, with smaller villages dotting the country. First is the city of Pachitupa, the capital of the empire and the seat of Emperor Apatzakintli III, where all roads of the empire lead, and it is the most northern city. The city is elaborately decorated and excessively extravagant. The court of the emperor is within the palace of Tokatli, and only the fiercest, most loyal warriors can become honor guards to the emperor. Pachitupa is the most inland city and least likely to be attacked by marauding pirates, invading vampires, or hostile merfolk, and is where the emperor manipulates the noble houses against one another to ensure his position at the top. The city of Ixalan, also known as the Verdant Plain, is the most coastal city and has been attacked by invaders most often. As such, it is a stern, disciplined, and determined city. It's also the largest food supplier of the empire. 3 noble families fight for control of the city, and among them is the family of Atla Palani, Nest Tender. The priests of Ixalan employed dinosaurs more often than in other cities because there is a natural abundance of them along the Verdant Plain. Due to their frequent conflicts, the people of Ixalan value strength above all else. The final city of the Sun Empire is Otepec, the Mountain Temple. It is a remnant of the ancient Sun Empire and was built high into the mountains to the southwest. It is currently a staging ground for the Empire's explorers and scouts who search the interior of the continent for their lost city of Orazca. Most political power in Otepec is wielded by the priesthood, and they are utterly devout to their threefold sun. It seems as though Tionali is the most prominent aspect of the sun in Otepec. The Sun Empire is a proudful and aggressive nation whose main goal under the Emperor's leadership is to find the lost city of Orazca and reclaim the immortal sun. Both are historically significant to the Empire and viewed as part of their identity. The city represents the peak of their power, and the immortal sun represents their means of regaining such power. West of the Sun Empire and beyond the mountains of Ixalan, the continent is wild and the jungle grows dense. Underneath the canopy, 9 rivers flow, carving out much of the landscape as they converge to form the Great River, which dominates the interior of the continent. And it is this land and the inner sea that the River Heralds call home. The River Heralds are the merfolk of Ixalan. They were the dominant race before the arrival of humans, and their history goes far beyond even the ancient Sun Empire. The Heralds are deeply rooted in nature and have rejected the way of civilization and domination they have seen the Sun Empire follow. They live in complete harmony with the land, and their shamans, known as Shapers, command the full power of the vast oceans, endless skies, and countless trees. Their power is so great, in fact, that just a small band of heralds can fight off a much larger foe, as seen on the card Slice in Twain. The main purpose of the River Heralds is to keep the tentative balance of nature in order, and their greatest task has been keeping the lost city of Orazca hidden from all who would seek the immortal sun. Charged with its protection many years ago, the Heralds saw the destructive capabilities of the artifact and believe only harm would come if someone wielded it, even themselves. They willingly forgot its location over the centuries, but have a steadfast obligation to prevent any other force from reaching the Golden City. This is made apparent in the flavor text of cards like Gilded Sentinel, Headwater Sentries, and Sworn Guardian. What outsiders see as a collective front of merfolk defenders is actually a fractal culture of several small migrating bands of merfolk. Each band of River Heralds is made up of a dozen or so merfolk who are led by a shaper. Each shaper has one apprentice that they groom for their own position, so they may assume the title of shaper when the time is right. Each shaper is a powerful shaman that commands both the elements and the respect of other bands. As a band migrates, the shaper bends nature to their momentary needs, then returns it to the way it was. A shaper and the band they lead are named after the territory they control and headwater of the great river they protect. The most powerful bands control the most essential tributaries for the great river, and 9 of these are named as follows: Tishana, Kumena, Pashona, Vuhana, Matika, Notana, Falani, Tuvasa, and Kopala. Tishana is the Great Source, the largest headwater that feeds the Great River, and is therefore the most powerful band. All other bands respect the opinions and suggestions of the Voice of Thunder, although she doesn't rule them. Kumena was once Tishani's old apprentice and sees the defense of Orazca as a lost cause. He instead wants to seize the power of the immortal sun for the River Heralds and use it to defeat their foes. The number of merfolk are too few to adequately defend Orazca from the Sun Empire, Legion of Dusk, and Brazen Coalition, and so they resort to imbuing jade totems with elemental magic. When a trespasser nears, the seal of the totem opens, unleashing the stored might of a powerful elemental to defend the land from invaders. Building totems is a time-consuming and costly effort, and there aren't nearly enough to protect all of the Great River. Shapers can create and command short-lived elementals in the heat of battle, or beckon the wind and water to their will, as seen in River's Rebuke and Windstrider. Since defending the Great River and the Golden City is an active job, the bands of River Heralds never stay in one place very long. They are a nomadic people that go where the waters take them, but there is one location sacred to all merfolk, and that is the Deeproot Tree. The Deeproot is a massive mangrove tree and remnant of a time when the Heralds built cities. It has been shaped into a permanent shelter, and each merfolk band visits its waters once a year to strengthen their bonds with nature. The River Heralds of Ixalan are an ancient and minimalistic people who have taken on the burden of keeping the lost city and immortal sun out of avaricious hands, and are prepared to give their lives to that end. Far to the east, across the dangerous waters of the storm-wrecked sea, lies the continent of Torazon, ruled by a vampire monarch and the vampires of the Church of Dusk. The feudalistic society of the vampires is deeply seated in religion, and the nature of vampirism itself is seen as pious. Individuals partake in the rite of redemption and cast aside all pretenses of humanity to fully embrace religion and vampirism, which can be read in the flavor text of Mark of the Vampire and Hierophant's Chalice. Once the transformation is completed, they are wholly devoted to both their queen and their religion. They see vampirism as a holy burden that will be absolved once they return the immortal sun back to Torazon. Not satisfied with owning a continent, the vampires of Torazon have come to Ixalan as conquerors and in search of the immortal sun, which is deeply tied to their history. Saint Elenda, the Dusk Rose, was the progenitor of vampirism and spent centuries looking for the immortal sun, believed by the vampires to bring eternal life without the consequence of undeath and need to feed on blood. The conquistadors of the Legion have taken up Elenda's banner and made landfall on Ixalan to continue her search. Members of the Legion of Dusk are split between their faith to the church and their loyalty to the queen, although matters of church and state almost always overlap. Regardless, some vampires are completely devoted to their religion, while others look to conquest for their queen. Despite this, all vampires on Torazon tout their superiority and are viewed as holy by their human populations. Many partake in a religious ceremony known as the Blood Fast, in which they refrain from drinking for weeks to months on end in order to strengthen their religious bonds. When a vampire finally gives in to hunger, they become bestial and uncontrollable, feasting on everything in sight. This state is known as rapture and is dangerous to all those around. The abilities of the vampires include superior strength and agility, immortality, and truly devoted members of the Legion have been gifted the ability to fly, known as exaltation. The Legion of Dusk has conquered the southeastern coast of Ixalan, and their harbors, forts, and coastal towns are collectively known as Queen's Bay. Adrian Adanto and the Sanctum Seekers, led by Arguel, were the first to cross the sea and built the first fort. Since then, the vampires have been on a relentless northern advance and have had frequent conflicts with the Sun Empire and the pirates of the Coalition. Their military has been trained by centuries of experience in war, and this, combined with the abilities of vampirism, has created an army that is nearly impossible to stop. They employ brutally effective tactics, use their superior knowledge of combat, and call on holy magic to destroy any obstacle in their path to the immortal sun. Two knightly orders of vampires have come to Ixalan, the Bloodstained and the Sanctum Seekers. The Bloodstained are most closely linked to the Church of Dusk rather than the Crown, and can be seen as zealots even by their compatriots. They believe in removing all ties to their previous humanity, and as such kill their own loved ones, drinking their blood as a symbol of carrying the weight of all Torazon on their shoulders. Since the Bloodstained are utterly devoted to their faith, they engage in blood fasts more frequently. The Sanctum Seekers, led by Arguel, were the first to make the voyage across the sea and are the most fierce. Their name is in reference to the Sanctum of the Sun, where the immortal sun rests, and the Sanctum Seekers hope to find it to cure their undead state. But this order is happy to pick up any glory, land, and treasure along the way to Araska. The Vampire Knights of the Legion of Dusk are devoted to both church and state, and have come to Ixalan to recover the immortal sun and conquer in name of their queen. They are a fierce and arrogant culture that will let nothing get in the way of their mission. Sleek corsairs skimming the waves on favorable winds, massive galleons blasting salvos of broadside, deadly boardings, salty sea air, and untold treasures beyond the horizon. All and more is in store for the life of a pirate on Ixalan. Driven from their homes by the vampires of Torazon, and unwelcome on the coast of Ixalan by the Sun Empire, many peoples were forced to wander the high seas and resort to a life of piracy. Thus the Brazen Coalition was formed. A motley crew of brigands, exiles, and thieves, the Brazen Coalition is a loosely affiliated league of captains and their crews that spend their days seeking glory and adventure across all of Ixalan. Humans, goblins, orcs, and sirens are common members of the cutthroat society. Pirates are present wherever there is treasure to be had, but their main supply depots and harbors to dock are located to the east of the Sun Coast and include Spitfire Bastion, various small islands, and the notorious floating city of High and Dry, a conglomeration of broken down ships and flotsam lashed together by ropes where pirates can trade tales, recruit new hands, and engage in risky bets. There is no law or code tying pirates together save for loose agreements and a shared love for treasure or adventure and a shared hatred for vampires. Most pirate captains see their ship as their country and their crew as their family, and enjoy the freedoms their life has to offer. Still, some pirate captains have come together to form entire fleets, and there are 4 major fleets that rule the waves. The Fathom Fleet is the largest and most respected of pirate fleets, due in large part to its leader, Admiral Beckett Brass, the titular pirate of the Brazen Coalition. Beckett Brass is a fearless admiral and well-versed in enchantment magic, and the brass figurehead on the bow of her ship is said to grant luck to those who sail under her. The Fathom Fleet is most distinguishable by its rope motifs woven into their clothing and sails. Captain Brandis Thorn is the most ruthless and feared captain on the seas, and he controls the Dire Fleet. Dire Fleet pirates are violent and materialistic, constantly seeking treasure to plunder, ships to add to their fleet, and rival captains to kill. Captain Thorn's cutthroat personality is best illustrated in the card Walk the Plank and the flavor text of Dire Fleet Captain. He constantly sails his ships towards conflict and believes riches are reserved for those who are strong enough and rash enough to succeed. Brandis Thorn and the Dire Fleet are most interested in the treasures of the Golden City of Orazca and tales of the Immortal Sun. Although pirates don't have any historical claim or stake in the control of the artifact, what pirate can say no to a treasure for which all are searching? The Deadeyes are under the command of Captain Wallace Parrish, and they are recognizable by the elaborate and militaristic attire they frequently wear. Believing themselves to be the descendants of the naval forces of the Free Cities before Torrezon was conquered, the Deadeyes are known for their superb combat and navigation skills. Captain Parrish's fleet is small, and rarely do 2 Deadeye vessels travel together. They enjoy their freedoms and are only loyal to the captain because of her knowledge. She is a mind mage that deals in information and secures her position by making sure no one knows everything. The Deadeyes plunder secrets more than anything else. The final fleet is the Storm Fleet under the command of Captain Lannery Storm. She captures every essence of the term swashbuckler and thoroughly enjoys the life of sailing, exploration, and freedom that piracy has to offer. She's more concerned with seeing the world than adding to her personal wealth, and discourages her fleet from senseless violence. Lannery Storm is known as the luckiest pirate in the world, having escaped death or capture countless times, and she shares that luck with her crew. From the flavor text of Opt and Unknown Shores, we see that she is always looking for danger, adventure, and a good tale to tell. Despite their differences, all pirates share a fierce sense of freedom and a love for adventure, as well as a fascination with treasure. They plunder Sun Empire coastline, River Herald ruins, and Dusk Legion forts. Their deep-seated hatred towards vampires has led them to more daring attacks on Queen's Bay than other locations. Recently, the other culture's search for Orazca has driven some pirates to seek out the Golden City and the untold treasures that lie within. The continent of Ixalan has quickly become a tinderbox, with each culture mobilized for war and in a race to uncover the power of the Immortal Sun. Conflicts are becoming more regular, and unrest is stirring. It's only a matter of time before the 4 races of Ixalan converge in a blood battle for the ruins of the Golden City of Orazca. Thanks for watching the Plane of Ixalan Explained. In the next video, we'll discuss the history of the plane, as well as the story that unfolds in the search for the Immortal Sun. But now I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the Plane of Ixalan, as well as your favorite race. Leave a thumbs up if you liked the video, and subscribe for weekly content. I've linked the references used in the description below. Until next time, go forth and explore the lore.